All right, so this is the real chapter 9.7, using the trigonometric identities. Okay, so you already I assume you guys have watched my the preview section of the 9.7. So this time I'm going to show you guys some examples. You guys going to be working on the problems on the textbook, and then let's just get started. So on number 4, they're going to ask you guys to find the 6 trigonometric um, ratios of the um, the given with the given information. So first thing you want to do is using the given information that they gave you. The most important part is this. They're going to tell you that where do you need to draw your triangle. So if you notice that that's going to be between 180 degrees to 270 degrees. Okay, so which means that it's going to be in quadrant 3. Okay, so with that being said, you want to write, you want to draw the triangle. It doesn't really matter how you're going to draw this one. Okay, so the triangle is going to be in quadrant 3, and you know that the angle theta, it's going to be sine theta, right? So it's going to be opposite, which is -7 over hypotenuse. Okay, and then you're gonna have to figure out what the missing side is. So what you need to do is use Pythagorean theorem. Okay, this is the x, and it's gonna be negative because this is in quadrant 3. Okay, use Pythagorean theorem. So that's 49 plus x squared equal to 100. Subtract 49 on both sides. So that means um, x squared equals to 51. So x is going to equal to rad 51, but it's going to be negative. Okay, so let's just go ahead and write x equal to negative rad 51. Okay, and then you're going to use that information to go ahead and, and come up with the 6 trig functions. Okay, so we already got the sine there. So now you're going to do cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So negative rad 51 over hypotenuse is 10. Tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent. Okay, so that's going to be positive, but you have to multiply by the rad 51 over rad 51. So that's going to be 7 rad 51 over 51. Okay, then you guys got a cosecant. That's just going to be the reciprocal of -7 over 10. So it's going to be 10 over -7. Okay, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So just flip the fraction. So make sure that you guys rationalize this. So that's going to be -10 rad 51 over 51. The last one is cotangent. Okay, cotangent is going to be the negative rad 51 over -7. Okay, make that into a positive, and that's how you find out the all 6 trig functions. Okay, next one, cosecant, and then notice that this is in between 270 and 360, so this is going to be in quadrant 4. So let's draw the triangle out. So it's going to be quadrant 4. Let's go ahead and just draw a triangle. Okay, so secant, you know that secant is the hypotenuse over adjacent. So that means hypotenuse is 9, adjacent is 4. We don't know what y is, but it's going to be negative. So just go ahead and do the Pythagorean theorem. So it'll be 16 plus y squared equals to 81. Subtract 16 on both sides, so that would be y squared equal to 55. Okay, so y is going to equal to 55, but you got to make that into a negative. I think I messed up on this one. My bad. It's going to be 65. Okay, so it's going to be a 65, but it's going to be negative. So go ahead and write negative 65. Okay, so let's just go ahead and write down the other 5 trig functions. So sine theta is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse, and not just consistent with the reciprocal of secant. And then we got tangent theta, that's opposite over adjacent. Okay, and then we go ahead and do the cosecant. Okay, so cosecant is going to be hypotenuse over opposite. Okay, you go ahead and rationalize this by yourself. And then cotangent is going to be adjacent over, oh, it's just basically, yeah, it's just a reciprocal of tangent. Okay, and that's how you find the all 6 trig functions. Okay, so let's go ahead and then do the next one, number 10. Just knowing that this is going to be in quadrant 3. Okay, so just go ahead and draw the xy axis. So here's the triangle, and then it says cosecant is 5 over negative 3, and we know that cosecant is going to be hypotenuse, which is 5, over opposite. Okay, and then we know that this one is kind of easy because one of the triples is 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this one has to be a 4, but it has to be a negative 4. Okay, so let's just go ahead and write the other 5 trig functions. Sine theta, okay, this is theta right here. Sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine theta is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent. That's going to be positive 3 over 4. And then we got cosecant is already given there. So secant theta, now we're just going to flip the fractions. Okay, cotangent, it's going to be 4 over 3. It was negative and negative, and it makes that positive. Okay, let's look at number 16. So here we comes. They want you to simplify this, okay? And then you can just go back to the previous lesson, the previous preview video, and then you should be able to just use the cofunction identity. We know that for this identity, you'll be able to, you don't have to memorize, you can just memorize it, okay? You don't really have to memorize it because you're right in front of computers, you're right in front of books. Just go ahead and write that as cosine theta, okay? And then secant, we know that the identity is that this is the reciprocal of cosine. So it's 1 over cosine theta. Okay, so you'll be able to cancel out the, I mean, if you don't feel comfortable with this, by doing the canceling out, you can just multiply the numerator and just say this is cosine theta over cosine theta. So this will equal to 1. Okay, let's go ahead. I mean, I was doing number 14 earlier, right? Or, I'm sorry, I was doing number 16 earlier, but now this is number 12. So this time, you guys can look at it, the identities. This is coming from the Pythagorean identities, and this is going to equal to secant square theta, okay? And we know that secant square theta is 1 over cosine square theta, okay? Bring this down. This is cosine theta. Just multiply it, okay? And just cancel out the, I mean, simplify it. Left you with 1 cosine theta. So this is just 1 over cosine theta. You can rewrite that as secant theta.